can't be there, and so it's not there. But it is there. This is a version of the Ten Commandments in Hebrew, in a Hebrew script that is known to have been used in the 7th and 8th, 9th century, or in the Dark Ages. The Los Lunas Decalogue stone is very much a genuine, priceless artifact and remnant of our history, just as the Tucson artifacts are. One of the leading artifacts that have been found that relate to the Los Lunas stone are the so-called Tucson artifacts. They're also called the silver bell artifacts, or the Tucson crosses. This is a whole suite of over 30 heavy lead engraved crosses and swords and other ceremonial relics, which were unearthed outside of Tucson in the 1920s. And of course they're fake. They have been identified as fake, and if you were to Google it or go to that great arbiter of knowledge, Wikipedia, and search for the Tucson artifacts, you would learn that they were essentially maybe cowboy Masonic implements that were planted in the soil of the Santa Cruz River outside Tucson in order to increase tourism to Tucson. Now that is the official opinion, okay? And if you go to the museum where they are now housed, the Tucson artifacts, you'll find that the keepers probably won't say whether they're true or fake artifacts, or more likely that most people are there to look at them because they're just these strange cowboy artifacts that are part of Arizona's history. Well, when you study these relics or rare artifacts that pop up and surface from the long centuries before Columbus in America, you know, one of the objections is, oh, they weren't found as part of an archaeological dig. They're found by amateurs. The Los Lunas stone has been known to be there as long as there have been people there, and the Indians called it the strange painted or rock of writing, okay? Another objection is, well, there might have been something there, but it was just a fleeting visit from a foreign visitor, or a Viking ship got blown off course, you know, and made landfall, or something of that sort, which you cannot say of the Los Lunas stone, because if you put it together with the Tucson artifacts, it is part of a long colony of Roman Jews who were there for centuries, not just for a spell. Or people will say, it's an unexplained fluke, you know, which is a little bit of a cop-out, I think. Critical to understanding and proving these things is the genetic record. And if you look at the genetic record of the Americas, it's pretty clear that the geneticists and the ones that we have put in charge of telling the story of the peopling of Americas have really botched it. The stories that you read in our textbooks today are like fairy tales. So if you want to see all the controversial objects all in one place in a little museum of the damned, open the pages of Stephen Williams' Fantastic Archaeology. He used to teach a course at Harvard. And so in the course, I'm sure there were many laughs from the students when they came to Los Lunas Decalogue stone. That's in there, and that's called a glorious fraud. The Tucson objects artifacts are also in there, and they're called forgeries. Never mind, we don't know who forged them. They're forgeries. They just have to be. The Bat Creek Stone, all the other good stuff in American history is in that book. So if you want it all in one place, get that book. It's a big problem, but and you know how it will be dealt with. It will not be dealt with until the story of America changes, because as long as the story of America is Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492, and there were nothing but ignorant savages here before, and they all came across the Bering Land Bridge, remember that? Chasing woolly mammoths. As long as that is the official story of the Americas, nothing is going to happen. The Tucson artifacts are owned by the Arizona Historical Society in Tucson. You can go there and view them and see them. They've not been treated in a very good way by the literature. Most people have called them just plain oddities. But why is that, one might wonder? You know, why is all heaven and earth in rebellion to refuse to acknowledge these 8th to 9th century Roman Jewish inscriptions, which have been validated and authenticated by experts?
אנוכי יהוה אלוהיך אשר הוצאתך מארץ מצרים מבית עבדים. לא יהיה אלוהים אחרים על פניה. לא תאשה לך